All right.
Welcome, one and all. This is the Peace Dealer. This is your 17th episode of Peace Talk, where I interview and talk with spiritualists and other YouTubers. This episode, I have a personal friend who I met around the time I started doing this. I'm a Gemini and with the Cat Moon, and she's a Sag with the Cancer Moon. So this is going to be pretty magical. How you doing, Rachel? What's poppin'?
I'm actually having like a really chill day. Usually I'm like manic and I can't stop thinking, but right now I'm just kind of like in a blank zone. It's really fun though for me. What about you? How was your day? What were you up to today?
Well, today I met two Leo brothers. Well, I met my Leo friend came back from New York, and I met his Leo brother for the first time, and it was crazy because while there, he invited a friend who had a girlfriend, and they were both Aquarians. So I was with two Aquas and two Leos for like all afternoon.
Oh gosh,
it's kind of happened. Yeah,
that's interesting.
And then I was in my own like blank zone, channeling all sorts of crazy information.
I think we're in the hermit zone lately because we've got the hermit. Not only do we have the interchanging moon and sun, but we have the hermit card with the moon as our birth tarot cards. So I'm feeling that today. I'm feeling like we're two hermits, like just chilling.
That Scorpio full moon more than ever just tapped me into that hermit and then moon card. Like the moon influence just takes it to a whole nother dimension, quite literally. And then I like how we have the hermit and the moon cards, and then we both have 12th house energy. I feel like that's what really like fuels those cards, I would say.
I feel like, I feel like that's cool. And like, I like to talk about the aspects, but for me, like between you and I is just like the fact that we can see each other in dreams. So like, I don't know, I haven't seen you in a bit. I know the last time maybe you saw me in a dream was like 2 weeks ago, but we still have been talking about it. We have to plan to try and go further.
Oh my God.
Dream.
We still haven't.
No.
Yeah, I was checking out my dream log. Yeah. And our Mercury is literally, our composite Mercury is literally conjunct our Pisces composite rising, and Neptune's there. So it's like, we have to be in the dream realm, right? What the hell?
Yeah, we have to.
Well, I have a question for you.
Get off Pisces' dick for a second. Good God.
I cannot do that. I have a Pisces obsession right now.
No, you keep saying that like we hold back like all our dreams and shit and whatever.
You're right.
I'm just playing with you.
You're right.
What's your question though? I'm sorry to interrupt and be rude. To the Peace Dealer, I would never.
Yeah, whatever. One thing that Rachel is really gifted at, one of the many things, because Sagittarius don't do everything, but one of the many things that Rachel is gifted at is dream interpretation. And outside of like the standard, dream textbook interpretations you'll get, she has.
You have gone offline, homie.
Very extra dimensional dream energy, and just really easily, just like saying how it translates to the Virgo. Of course, you have American as well. What do you feel like? Especially with this Neptune and Pisces and all this, I mean, other aspect stuff, but what do you feel about the state of dreams right now as far as like dimensional activity that's going on?
All right, well, first of all, like, I've been like in the dream world like my whole life. I've always remembered my dreams, and I've actually wished to stop remembering my dreams recently because they became so real versus illusion that the lines started to blur, and it started to bother me in my waking life. But it's so complicated. I mean, there's a shadow on Neptune, which is, dreams and illusions, the size of Earth's shadow, and then you have, Venus, and oh God, there's so many cults about Venus and Saturn, and they all are heavy players in the dream world right now. I don't know if a lot of people understand how heavy of players Saturn and Venus are teaming up. They're totally behind the scenes right now, and Neptune making a gigantic storm. because they don't want the truth to be
Yeah.
revealed.
Well, I can understand Saturn's motivation for not revealing the truth. I didn't know per se about that, but it makes total sense. Saturn influence is just like canceling out people from even entering certain depths of the dream world. But
Yeah.
Venus's motivation, I would say she's getting like held hostage by Saturn. Have you ever seen the movie The
Yeah.
King's Ransom?
No, I've never even heard of it, to be honest. We're offline currently for a second.
We're back now, though. Yeah,
Yes, we are.
Have you ever seen The King's Ransom?
No, not at all.
It was this movie. I forgot with who, but it was a nice cast. But basically, the whole premise was that there were different groups of people who were going to kidnap a certain wealthy business executive, and he ended up getting taken for ransom. And the whole premise of the plot was he took himself for ransom so that he can get paid the money. So I feel like that's what Venus is doing with Saturn. Like, she's acting like she's taking hostage, but she's like behind the scenes, like, oh, let's get some energy. But
Yeah,
I don't really understand that whole like dream energy like you do. Like, I don't live in my dreams.
I do.
I'm stuck here.
I've seen the Saturn sphere in my dreams before. There's an actual equation for it, and I don't know, I got like really crazy with numerology once and worked like a mirror type of pattern with 5 and 3 and the number 6, and it was all because I had this dream that I actually saw this electrical energy, and I knew that it was called the Saturn sphere, and I'd never heard of it, and it does actually exist. But as far as the cult of Venus, I really started to learn into it because of my love for metal music. I know that rap got into it a little bit, you know, like in the 90s, but more so like in around 2008-9 when Obama was elected, to get more into occult topics. But in metal, they've always talked about like darkly Venus adversa, the cult of Venus, and how like there's these this doppelganger effect. There's this type of sphere that's controlling certain things that we do, and it's so deep. You have to really follow pop culture. It starts to speak
Yeah,
to
and
you.
it's so hard to find any like genuine information though. Especially I mean, I can understand why certain cults would leave certain things secret as well. And one thing I mentioned about you, Rachel, is like you take all this esoteric knowledge and you express it in like a non-linear way. So it's not like I'm in school listening to a substitute teacher like teach it to me from a book. Like, it's very integrated in your lifestyle. As opposed to me, I'm literally opposite. I'm all analytical and structured about it and trying to get like the logic of it. It really helps me like look at it in a different way and start to see how like they do synergize.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
I remember when you posted on Soul Garden how you were looking for someone with a Venus in Capricorn, and that was my natal aspect. And I recall so many posts that you write, and I follow like your vibe so much. I believe that you do know about these things, that you're just not actually aware of it. Because the things you talk about are usually the same things without the names. So you're one of those people that I always feel like, damn, you're so smart. You don't give yourself enough credit. You definitely know, like even like though you're a Western astrologer, I know that you understand Vedic through the concepts and ideologies that you speak of. And by the way, I want you to know that if you have any questions about Vedic, I want you to throw them all at me, because I could probably answer any of them.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. And especially another thing you said before about being unaware, because that's kind of how I feel. Like I have my moon in Cap, and then I have the midheaven in Aqua. So like I understand, but it's literally like I'm walking, and that's why I really, really, really love the Sag perspective, because it's like I'll have the understanding and the thoughts, and then you already see what it is. Basically, what you just. I'm going to talk to you about Vedic. I don't really know what questions to ask about Vedic. I understand some concepts about it, but I want to look back into it. The only thing I like about Vedic are like the little special like conditions, like the nakshatras and the divisional charts. I want to find a way to like convert them and translate them to Western in probably a unique way. But before you talk about Vedic, what do you feel about the Gemini-Sagittarius connection? I literally made a post earlier about how like the cardinal signs are the players in this game of life. The fixed signs are the reward and the prize you get. And then the mutable signs are the Virgo, writing the rules, and Pisces, editing the program. And then Gemini and Sagittarius is like the actual existence of the game. So like, I know us can think some stuff, but if they don't believe it, the frame, how do you see it like opposite? Or
to make a very, very long story in history short, I guess in current terms, you could put it in when the last eclipses were between Sagittarius and Gemini, which was in 2009. And if you could think about the long-term game being the mutables and having Pisces in the 12th house being the end, you could take it all the way back to Egypt. You could take it all the way back to Enoch, because Egypt is it's a Pisces place, and that's where the rides were starting when the Sagittarius and Gemini eclipses were happening. So there's this dream that we have, and we're so mutable that we want to get there, and we have these ways to get there. But then again, we have so much fire with air that we need this other help, that we've called out to the world and showed that, you know, we've been in this game for so long, we can get this through, because we can pull it through as the only opposites that have that connection. But we're like calling to the world to like, you know, look at this, you know, like, what is this? To kind of call to other people to their rising as well, even in our, I guess, midheaven, I would say it would be.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's magical though, man. I always meet Geminis. They're the funniest people I know. They're the friends that I have, whether they're male or females, that like at the end of the night, if we go out and like have a drink, we're like sleeping in the same bed, but we're like giggling, eating popcorn, and like waking up and like being like it's not even like sexual a lot of the times. Like,
yeah,
like Gemini is like, you know, it's been like a major aspect in my life always. Like, I love that air. I don't got any air.
Oh my gosh, I don't have any.
Even progress.
So, what's it like to not have air? Is it like you just don't communicate as much? Does it really impair your thinking?
It's made me able to communicate very well as I get older, but it also makes, I think it's because I know things that I'm not supposed to say. I think it's a Saturn block. I think that's why Saturn ruled my chart for 17 years. I think that there was an experience I needed to have that couldn't be described or shouldn't be described.
That is so profoundly put. In this stage, I'm really feeling your energy too. There's this like vortex that's been slowly opening ever since we started this call. I'm really feeling like there's gonna come where we as 12th housers in a way are really gonna have to like reveal the hellbent and final understanding of what these energies are, but not necessarily in a way that enlightens people. I kind of get like a purge feeling in a way.
Yeah, I kind of get like the fool and the trickster, the hanged man. I get the high priestess a lot, you know, that there are no secrets really. I get this recently I got this really strange intuition about you, and I'll have to tell you about it, but the number 888.
That's
and I'll have to and I'll have to explain it to you later in depth because it's really intricate and personal, but there's been a lot of interesting energies going on with Gemini and Sagittarius to further it, but man, I could spend hours on it. I know I've been thinking about Gemini and Sagittarius for like, it seems eons.
Yeah, it's one of the most magical connections, hands up and down. But I've never been able to fully explore it because there's literally like a universal block. Like every time I'll be with the Sag, like we're only allowed to like get to a certain level, and then it'll be either too much and say for a period. I feel like that's changing to where like it's not gonna be there. I feel like those squares kind of had to do like that.
The nice part about that is that I notice with the Gemini-Sagittarius energy and how it plays out is that it ends up coming back around a lot of times. The people that Gemini and Sagittarius bring together often go out and have their burst period, and then they come back and, in a big breath of Jupiter when times get to that exact place and you get a different mix of people. So I feel like the blessing of Sagittarius and Gemini is unity through time, the higher mind and the lower mind, and seeing how things play out through just, I guess, everything. So I guess that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Because it represents something more than the other signs. And it's not because it is more, because there's definitely a sacrifice, as you said.
Yeah.
But I can't deny the blessing. So sacrifice is a hard word for me to use. Ever.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a sacrifice. It is one though, but it doesn't seem one.
Right.
It's interesting too, like I feel like progressed Capricorns from Sagittarius are way different from any progressed sign. And I really want to study that 0 degree Cap and 0 degree Cancer degree. Like, I feel like those two are very pivotal.
The moon was actually in 0 degrees Cancer around like 2 or 3 today.
You mean Capricorn?
Or Capricorn, yeah. Whoops. Yeah, Venus was in Cancer, I think, but earlier.
20, yeah. Yeah, that should be exciting. How do you feel like the trine to Neptune, that's going to change the world? How do you feel like, and it's crazy because I don't really mean like in some scary, like, be some atomic bomb blast, but I really feel like something very like viral.
Yeah, it's going to be like DJ Kale, Welcome to My Hood. It's going to be like, I feel like it's going to be I feel like it's going to be really fourth housey. It's going to be like home. It's going to be like this returning of, it's with Pluto too, this generational thing that people keep talking about, because, I mean, if you study Vedic enough and you study how it relates to Western, you can actually see past lives. That's how I've noticed it. It's like an evolution of consciousness, and people will soon learn that yes, Pluto is a planet and it can be divided into time, but actually Pluto does not have time as well. And that's why Scorpio rules it, and death is a transcendence. So there's going to be a lot of interesting energies coming, I feel.
Let's talk about Genius and Waka Flocka's decision to run for president, because I feel like he's really working that. I feel like he's really working his Pisces moon to really accomplish this. Like, people are not going to expect what's going to happen. Like, I'm pretty sure people are going to treat it like a joke. He's not even like 35. Apparently, that's. Yes, he does. He also does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's really interesting.
His wife came up. And how do you feel about him running? As far as how do you think it's going to play out? Because apparently, the Constitution says you have to be 35, but he's a mutable sign, so he might be able to change that. You never know. He's getting petitions as we speak.
Yeah,
actually
like I said,
the campaign.
I'd like to definitely try and start like a group to try and with a lot of Waka fans, because I like him as a person. Like, I like his mom. I think his mom's a good woman. I think they have good family values. I think they've been through hard times. I think they find humor to remedy that in dreams. Waka Flocka always says, the devil's entered him and stuff, but, screw it. You can get through it. You can get your dreams achieved. I think if he was going to do something, he's got a good fan base to do it. I think he's got enough karma to handle it. I think that substance abuse would be an issue, but I think that that's always an issue in any type of position like that. Everyone knows that people in that type of situation, it doesn't really matter, but I hope that for him that it didn't, because I know he's had some struggles, but I think that he could do it. And I think his fans could change policies very quickly. And I think it's the most profound idea that has come to the music industry in a long time.
The negatives is that, perceptually speaking, he's basically just seen as a rapper, a dumb rapper. So C is his Pisces moon. Like, the media, Pisces is the media, and the reason why I say dumb rapper is there's so much media bits out there that people could use to be like, how can this man be fit when you've already mentioned, you know, this is actually a cool person. His parents are actually pretty cool. This is a smart dude, so I know if he's running, he's probably going to be clean, and they could try and bring up his past. I would say
Yeah,
that's a negative, but
they're gonna try and bring it up. Just like it just crossed my
yeah,
mind, even though I knew it wasn't real. But other people are gonna make it crazy, especially because of his rap
sensationalize
videos.
it. They're going to sensationalize it. Yeah, they're going to say he's a violent hoodlum. But the only thing though is, I don't think if he can't run, he'll be literally the youngest person running. I feel like if he's able to run, that would be victory right there. Like he wouldn't even have to win the election if he can actually maintain a platform. That in itself would inspire and change so much. But I mean, somebody
I
was telling me that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just tired of like celebrities running for presidency. Like I respect like Stephen Colbert and like how he like wanted to do all these things for fun, but for him it was a joke. But I feel like if someone has enough power like to do it, like don't joke about it. Why don't you just do it? Because there's a lot of people that would love to be at that level to do it. And I feel like
Yeah.
it's just, if he was president, I feel like he would take it seriously.
He would. He definitely would. He'd have a cabinet of very intelligent people. But I feel like this election is so pivotal, especially like this is the same thing that happened last time Hillary ran for president. Like she was supposed to win, and then some black dude came out of nowhere and won the election, and then ran for 2 terms. And now the same thing is happening. Now I don't think Waka Flocka is going to realistically win the election, but you never know. Nobody really thought Barack would win, and that's just like really stretching it. But I mean, somebody was telling me that you have to get to know certain people before, like the actual presidential debates are privately funded apparently, so that might also
Yes,
be an
campaign
issue.
financing needs to be reformed.
Yeah, that's basically like on a scale of corruptness from Watergate, evil Nigerian empire, how corrupt is the actual campaign process?
It's just, you know what? It's not so evil anymore. It used to be, but thanks to the internet and thanks to things like social connections, almost anybody can be president now. And that's the real power. Anybody could do it. I remember being in high school and having a biology teacher who was really cool, and he'd be like, none of you are going to be president, like get ready for like school, blah, blah, blah. That's not true anymore. I see
Yeah.
people start, you know, you have your exodus to California. How quick did it take you to get like a couple of grand to go somewhere? What if you wanted to run for fucking president? Do you think you could do it? You might be able to, Michael. You know what I mean? Like this shit's getting real with like emotions. I feel like water signs, you know, like you said, Watergate, there was a scandal in the water in the presidency. So I feel like, and there was a scandal with the Gemini, Kennedy, and, you know, the dark moon in Leo, Marilyn Monroe. And I feel like we're very close to my dark moon in Leo right now. So I feel like there are the insiders that kind of understand what people need to be in. And we do need someone, you know, like I know we are like, oh, our first black president. Now we want to put a lady in president because that's how voting went. Black men got to vote first, then women. But I think what would be better is if we could destroy age and socioeconomic status and stereotypes.
Thank you. Thank you. The only thing about I so deeply respect JFK more now that I know he's a Gemini. I want you to speak on this because you might call this a conspiracy theory, but I truly believe that that whole phenom of killing the messenger isn't really some kind of like
I never thought of it that way,
mythology. Because
yeah.
I could never be president. Like I would rather be a president's advisor because once a Gemini is in a position of power, they kill us. Once we start telling the truth, they kill us. They did to Biggie, they did to Tupac, they did to John Lennon. He's not a Gemini, but they also did it to JFK. Now you can't really prove that these people were assassinated, but
yeah,
I'm gonna call that. Like I really have noticed that prominent Gemini individuals or people who tell the truth and use that Gemini energy like being straight killed.
and that's what
Now
they
this is
did
a sense
that for. That's what they did that for, though. So what you have to do is say it's worth getting shot in the head for, and that's the type of person that needs to run this country.
Yeah, that's true.
It
I
is true
totally second
because
that. I
that's,
totally agree.
I mean, I feel you. I feel you on like airing out that though, because that is the issue for a lot of people. It takes a great sacrifice. It takes a heavily Saturnated personality, someone who can see the sphere and want to help break through it.
I feel like that's what Kendrick Lamar did with
I
his
was just
latest album.
listening to Kendrick Lamar, but I
Yeah.
don't know much about his albums. I just
Um,
listen to his singles.
yeah, the fate of New Age Geminis right now literally land in Virgos and Sagittariuses. I kind of noticed that. I didn't want to accept it, but I kind of noticed like as far as Virgos hold an influence with Libra and the social elements of stuff, and then of course your influence with Capricorn and Scorpio, it's like there's a whole lot of dynamics that hold on, I'm gonna totally flip this around because
Go
this
for
is
it.
also this is also on top of um, a certain double agentry. Oh my gosh, I hope I do not lose all of you right now.
No,
I, I
I know what you're talking about.
like as far as Libra being the Illuminati and then Aquarius being the Antichrist, but Scorpio, Virgo, and Gemini and Sagittarius are the only ones who can do something about it. And Capricorn affected heavily the most because Capricorn is the Triforce energy, and Libra took it from the pedestal of Gemini and now reflects the corruption and injustice, not because it's evil energy, but because in this low dimension, Archangel energy gets distorted. So I kind of got that Virgo got kidnapped by Capricorn because she got caught doing that double agentry stuff. And apparently Sagittarius has been, teaming with Libra the entire time. So it's just like Gemini
Yes.
and Scorpio against the world. It's like sucks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's very, you know what really weirded me out? You want to talk about synchronicity for a second?
Yeah.
So at my new job, you had posted something about like how like people in your life were like spies. Do you remember?
I think I
Like
did.
you're like, it could be like your like sister, your like whatever, brother. And at work, I was at work and all of a sudden, and it was really 12th housey like style job. Like I was picking up on a lot of things. Like I knew where I was and like what was happening in a different way, I guess. But my boss like said he had out of nowhere, he goes, I hired Rachel because I knew that he would keep this kid named Brandon in line and that she was a spy. So like I always get
Oh,
this
they
double
know you.
agent vibe. Yeah, man. And it was
Well, because
weird because
you're
I felt really guilty because you just said that. I was like, what? And you're always talking about like outing people. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm not a spy.
no, you totally are. Because
I know. I
Sagittarius is
used
the
to love
light.
Harriet the Spy and everything.
Sag is the light that had to infiltrate the Illuminati darkness so that Virgo and I can gain entrance. And then Virgo got picked out, and then we can't even trust you right now. I don't even know. That's the thing. Like you never know if you could truly trust Sag. Like if they're really,
I just got
you never
Kanye
really know. Dark or on
intuition.
alert.
You're so hypnotizing. Could you be the devil? Could you be an angel? E.T., Kanye West, Katy Perry. I got that Lucifer
Interesting.
in perfect magnitude to my sun, 2 degrees. And you know what you got, Michael?
What I got?
You got, you know how Drake says, "I got that Courtney love for you, that crazy shit."
Hey.
Yeah, well, guess what? One of your perfect magnitude romantic matches is Courtney Love.
Yo.
You're definitely a Gemini. I ain't spying on you, man. I just like it. Like it's like my own fart. Like I don't know what people are talking about.
I sometimes never know what people are talking about, but then since I'm a Gemini, I just kind of do. It's so weird. Oh my
I
god!
know you guys have that poetic ability.
Literally, like words will just flow, and then I'll be rhyming words that I didn't even try to rhyme, and it's like, oh, I'm so unaware. Literally, I be feeling with my Capricorn moon. like the universe gave a 4-year-old immature kid an atomic bomb. It was like, yeah, wait till you're 30 to use that. I'm
Well,
like,
you know
what?
what? You know what? I think that your music is really interesting and creative. And I really liked your song First Love. I thought it had like a vibe that this like age kind of needed, like kind of an indie vibe to it, you know? And
Yeah.
that's kind of like the thing that's going and up and coming right now. But I feel like once Saturn lets its grips go of you, that you're going to really see, you know, just like One Feather said. And everything One Feather said is always this long-term thing. He's such a long-term guy. He told me, he pulled my cards and he told me to wait 2 years once. So I'm just letting you know that I feel like when you say 30 and you say things, like watch the numbers you're saying because it might be relevant enough. And I feel like I just feel this great change coming for you. And I know change is always coming for Gemini, so you never know. And that's the beauty.
There's a great change, all right. Saturn told me, let me tell you what Saturn told me about being 30. I don't know about Saturn loosening its grips because it literally feels like a
Oh, God.
spiritual battle between my soul. Saturn, because there's that clash between Gemini and Capricorn. I get Saturnian energy very mean. Saturn was like, listen here, you mental little fucker. Your vessel, I am on your moon, which is your vessel. So I control your vessel, and I'm going to take over your consciousness when you're 30. So I'm literally fighting that. I have to master my spirit, or Saturn will possess my soul.
You know what?
Like,
Maybe Saturn doesn't have its grips on you as hard as you think right now. Then maybe Saturn will be your coming.
oh, it definitely will. The Saturn return. It's like when I return, I'm going to take you over. And it's like literally, train. You better train like someone who's going to kill you in 4 years. Not like I'll commit suicide or anything, but it's literally like I could literally feel the energy grow more restless as it comes too. And it's like something great that I'll either have to step into on some eighth, I'll either have to step into or die from the pressure of. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I hear you. I know all about that energy. My chart is mostly in that dark rift area.
How is it more for you though, as like an eighth house? Because the challenge for me is that I'm taking my consciousness of a lower realm energy and having to subdue like one of the highest. But you're at the higher, and your eighth house is a lower realm energy, but it's so magical. Like, how is it different for you? It's still the same duality.
It's interesting because I learned that Robin Williams has similar aspects to me. But instead of me being interested in suicide, people around me have committed suicide. So there's been a lot of like Neptune effects, and like it's been really hard to kind of grasp all of these topics at once. So I'd say I would say the best way to put it is being a watcher. I feel like a lot of times in my life I'm not participating, and it's not because I'm not willful. My will is very strong, but a lot of times I'm just seeing people through, it seems. And that's a blessing for me because I feel like because I came through Antares, I feel like the first part of my life was remembering a past life because maybe I had some extreme karma that I needed to recall just to get through in this life. And that's why my dark moon is in one of the most hardest aspects progressed, but it also is related to beauty because it took a lot of strength to overcome living for other people. So I guess, you know, you got the non-possession card, I got the possession card. Maybe when Saturn comes for you and the way our moons are set up in King Kongs, that we'll have like that, you know, aspect reversed. And I think maybe we could have a long-term friendship of guidance for that.
Oh yeah, totally. Our 30s, like the real purpose of our relationship will kick off. Like I totally sense that. I just feel like there's still a lot of like we have to deal with such strong energies that we just have to, you know, like watch, as you said. And then the resurrection of the human soul requires that the seers have to awaken first. I feel like you're a seer. I'm not a seer, but y'all have to awaken first because it's by your sight you're gonna see.
Because we are blind, we have to. I feel I've been blind. I feel I was born blind. It's very strange, and that comes from like the colorblind genes in my family, but I was blind to many things. I remember being a kid and just like not knowing what was happening ever. like experiencing life like a movie film, looking out a window pane, noticing dust on chandeliers. I guess when I look back at it, I never thought it was dark because that was my experience. I thought it was like that for everyone. But for me, it was very dull, but it was very bright too. So, with my adrenaline disorder, but I would, as I got older and got a lot of experience and enlightenment, and actually this week, it came through for me that like this was my purpose for now, and that it may change soon. I got a lot of adrenaline, and it gave me tons of energy. Whenever I'm at work or doing something, people are always talking about my tireless work ethic. So like, I guess for me, yeah, like it pays off. Like it's a waiting game sometimes for the mutables because we're so quick to react that it just feels like we're in a constant retrograde loop. It almost seems like it's weird.
Yeah, constant retrograde loop, that makes perfect sense. And a lot of what you said mirrors a lot of what I went through. Like people would constantly walk up to me in high school and be like, "Hey bro, are you lost?" And it's just because I would walk around with such an unawareness of life. I wouldn't say I feel like I was blind, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm blind as much as just completely clueless. Like I'm starting to realize like how miraculous my life is. Like,
right? Me too. I'm surprised I'm not dead, man. I'm like, not to be like
straight up. Straight up. I'm surprised.
I love that show,
I'm
1,000 Ways to Die, by the way.
It's so plutonium.
It is.
So
yeah.
let's play the 3 questions game. We're gonna take turns asking each other questions.
Okay.
And you could start.
All right. Well, since we've been talking about 12th house a little bit, like I know people have like miraculous, fantastical dream experiences, but have you ever had any paranormal experiences in your waking life?
Yes. Oh, okay. Paranormal. I thought you meant synchronistic.
You could, I guess, if it's a deep enough synchronicity that it could really be paranormal. So I can't really judge. So whatever you feel like.
This goes into my unawareness. You have to understand, like, a lot of the things we're doing is magic right now. So if I got somebody from the 1800s here and he saw what we were doing, he would say this is like paranormal. Like, oh my gosh, you're speaking to someone across. So there's so much paranormal, like legit paranormal outside of that analogy that I go through every day, but I'm not aware of just due to the quincunx that I face and the semi-sextile of the 12th house. But I'm starting to be aware of it because I'm progressed into Cancer. So it's starting to make me see all these paranormal things, and the universe is slowly opening the door because it knows if it does something paranormal, my whole body could be shocked because now my conscious mind is trying to register something that's defying reality. But to answer your question and barring to the 12th house, I'm starting to learn that the reason why there's only so few people who experience these paranormal things is that you literally have to be in the 12th to like, it's not like 6th house things for everyone to see. Like 12th house is a legendary house. It's just personal for you. Or if you could share that moment with planets when planets are in there, or if you have planets that progress. In saying this now, and as part of the answer to any of y'all with 12th house planets, you need to stop getting discouraged when no one else understands or can connect with the stuff you're getting. This is like the final bridge.
I've had that problem a lot. It's like, you don't know what I mean? Like, fuck no, I don't get that. You crazy?
It's literally like reserved for special people. It's not like no one can get it. Everyone will at some point when their planets progress, unless you have it natally. But I really love that question about the paranormal because I'm starting to learn more and more. I need to stop looking at it like, something paranormal happened. I'm starting to realize this paranormal is like part and parcel of my life. And I'm starting to, it's live in the dream realm. Like I'm starting to like merge dimensions and bridge from like living in the 6 to now living in like the 7 and the 12 and beyond and whatnot. But that was a fantastic question. I see specific paranormal things I've seen. nothing like super impressive. It's just kind of things that you see that you think on later, like, wait, that makes no sense, but I literally registered it. Almost like, was I in a dream? But I probably am in a dream. But anyway,
I've had a paranormal experience for the first time in my life this year.
awesome.
And well, I had one in 8th grade, but since then I hadn't. In 8th grade, I was in my room doing homework, and all of a sudden my stereo, and it was an old one, a manual one, it turned up the volume blast. I remember going to see my dad, and I was scared, and he was just like, ignore it, but it just did it. But there's this chair I always sit in my house, and no one else sits in it by me, and it's by the door wall. And when I was at work one day, my partner and my child and my father-in-law were all in the same house, and they said that a ball came out. They were all in the living room, and a ball came from the kitchen, and it rolled down the stairs and hit the chair that I was sitting in. So that was shocking and horrifying. And so it's just things like that. And it's so weird because no one really in my family believes in the paranormal things, and people are just like, don't even talk about it. Like, that's it. Like, no one's going to even believe me watching this. They're going to think that, like, I have, like, some kind of attention wanting disease or something. But, like, that shit is weird. Like, I didn't believe in that shit. My family didn't talk about, like, ghosts. Like, I went to Catholic school for 2 years, but we didn't grow up in religion. So, like, I've had a lot of weird experiences. But go
That's
ahead with
so
your
interesting.
question.
I'm glad you mentioned that though, because a huge part of my life purpose outside of astrology, like what astrology is me for, my real life purpose is to be like your new age Ghostbuster, as far as like cleansing houses and like really sensing energies. I notice most things that really seem scary are just spirits who want attention and will just like move stuff and do stuff like that.
And for me, going through hard times, I know that you've been there for me when I've gone through panic, and I know that you've incepted into my dreams, and I know that that's been comforting for me sometimes, because we've had misunderstandings or trying to understand our esoteric perspectives, but it's always comforting to see what you're like in a dream, because in dreams that I've had of you, like, I'd be like jumping off a fence, like trying to fly, and like you will appear, and like as soon as you're there, like the ambience changes. There's warmth to the picture. It looks like we're traveling through neighborhoods that have houses that are mixed with things I knew. It's just very comforting. Like our spirits pick up. It's very cool.
I only heard the neighborhood, and then you froze for a little bit.
Well, that's probably for a reason. So go ahead with your next question.
Yeah, I mean, when I play it back, it'll play. So, but that's another thing I like about you. Like you kind of take everything in perspective and you give it its own, like, you don't try and like look to it. So you kind of like see as part of the process. But my question for you,
we're in the chill zone here, okay?
My question for you would be, what? Oh, perfect. What advice would you give to people when it comes to talking to spirits and dealing with deceased relatives and extra dimensional energies that contact you? Because it's moving through Cancer, when Mercury and Mars do, a lot of people are going to start being like, the veil is going to be so thin, and people are going to be like, so weird, like, what is this energy I'm feeling? So for people who at least will be able to know somewhat vaguely, what advice do you have, and then how do you personally do it?
Well, a lot of people, when they try to talk to spirits, they really think of angels and demons and things like that. You want to try and think of no labels. You want to think of nobody. You want to talk to yourself, because these people are within yourself. You're going to have conversations with yourself. It's going to seem like it's other people, but the dreams that come from that, the synchronicities and the people that you meet from that, are going to be reflections of the dead people or the deceased person or the spirits that you are looking for. And it might be a doppelganger effect. It could be an illusion to help you heal, or it could be an actual reincarnate.
Interesting.
Or someone who picks off in the same place as that person did at the same time, that in the years that have passed. But it's not always the same amount of years, because the time and the realms change. and so do the houses. So they create digital effects. It's interesting when you go into digital, by the way, if you ever want to research what we are doing right now. You know, we're in 8-bit right now. Like 8 bits make a byte, and you can't fold a paper more than 8 times. So right now we're technically in the spirit realm, you know, partially.
Yay! Yeah, that's more about the blending, I feel. There we go. There we go. The way it is, this is the way I see it right now. It's almost as if like this was the blend line of higher consciousness, and right now the tower of consciousness is moving up past it, and then you have like Libra and Scorpio who are above that line, and as the line moves up, Virgo is now like really sensitively seeing this, and then we're still under the line, you know, not in the higher consciousness under Virgo. So yeah, that's Leo to Aries, but we're starting to live. Now, don't take my word for it. It may not be actually like Libra specifically there, but that's kind of the concept I have. Like some people are above right now, some people are below, but not everyone is above. And that's really creating to this conflict right now. Communication. I feel so.
And it's not as many people as you think, strangely. I know evil and bad things happen, but sometimes I hate to justify it, but I have to play my asteroid so close to my sun. There are things in the world that you're never going to be able to figure out how it could happen, but sometimes it's always happening for a reason. Sometimes it's just and unjust, but I feel like as far as the veil goes, people really need to keep it impersonal, and you really need to channel a universal energy, and you really have to put yourself in other people's shoes. And that's hard for a lot of people to fully commit to. And
The
that's another
last
thing
part,
about channeling spirits.
putting yourself in other people's shoes is very hard. I totally agree with it. Oh snap! What was I gonna say? It was something. I think you had mentioned about. No, I totally forgot.
It's all good. Do you want me to ask another
Yeah.
question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. If you, okay, so speaking of spirits, one time I felt, I hoped that we were close enough that I could ask a question about you to the spirit realm, and I knew that because our channels were pretty open with our astrological aspects that you may hear this, but one time I asked my magnetic board if you would wear a thong for money.
Oh my god!
And
Would I?
And
Would I wear?
two times in a row, the answer was yes. So I want to know, is it true?
Yes. I have a Capricorn moon and a Taurus rising, and I'm a Gemini. I don't even understand like the concept. To me, I don't even understand what's wrong with doing that. It's just like, okay, sure, I don't give a fuck.
That's awesome. That's my question.
Well, yeah, your board is spot on. Trust what you get from it. My question to you is the standard question I usually do. What are your 3 favorite signs, and then what are your 3 most challenging signs? Go.
Well, because this is my personality style, and my initial response is I hate all of the signs. I don't discriminate. I would say that I hate and love the same signs, and it's because I know them so well that I hate and love them. So I'm going to compress that category into Leo, Gemini, and Scorpio.
As far as what you hate?
Yeah, I would say I love Leo. No, that's for love and hate. It's the same for me. I love Leo because they're so adventurous. I can play with them like we're little kids. Like we can go like catch butterflies and like, you know, plant like trees and stuff and just like play ball. But they're also so arrogant. Sometimes they make me feel like I need to get like plastic surgery because they get so arrogant when they go out. They want to be like with the best girl. And like sometimes they get like, for my Sagittarius, that's a little too high on the arrogance, even though I'm blunt. and I can like it sometimes. And with Scorpio, they can get too possessive for me, and I'm with my Aquarius and Venus. That's not my style any longer. It used to be. I used to be a little more possessive with people. And what I like about Scorpio is that we can pretty much talk about anything that's happened in our life ever and be really like cool about it and deep and get into good conversations. And with Gemini, I like Gemini because they are always the one I can laugh with, and it's like such a friendly, good relationship. But I also don't like them because sometimes they can be very uncaring towards your feelings, and they can get so bitchy and moody. Like I used to live with this Gemini, and I'd like do his laundry, and like one time I didn't do his laundry, and it's not like we're married or anything or like having a serious relationship, but he like screamed at me like I was his mom or something. I was like, bitch, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? I'm supposed to be your homie.
No, bitch, do my laundry right now.
And also Geminis are always obsessed with pimps, and that's cool. I like that culture too, because like I like to be fly.
Is it a Gemini thing? I thought
It's
it was
a Gemini
just
thing. No, it's a Gemini thing. No, every Gemini I meet, man, and you know what? It has
an obsession. It's a complete obsession.
Yes. Like, and it does not have to do with superficiality all the time. It depends on the Gemini. They can either be like the type that wants to be like wearing like a feather boa and like sunglasses and be about it, or it could be like just like this like really like chill guy with like a fedora on. Like it really depends. Like with the Gemini, they get really flashy and Leo about it sometimes though. But yeah, every Gemini.
That was so revealing. Like I was literally like in middle to high school. Even this is what was weird about it. Like I didn't even know what a pimp was. I was just like,
oh my God.
I think I want to be a pimp. Like I think that's my life purpose, to be a pimp. I didn't even know what a pimp was. But
I think you're just sense. I think you're just polyamorous. Maybe for this part of your life. I can't really judge your whole life.
No, you're right. I'm actually a polyamorous monogamist. So I'm a polyamorous person.
I was
only
like
date
that too.
One person till the day I die. Like I won't date other people. I'll be exclusive to one person, but I date like multiple people. That's who I am, but I won't do that because I have a Venus in Taurus. So it's like, I only want one person to come.
Yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta have that like base security. You gotta have a main bitch if you're gonna talk about Gemini's problems.
Well, see, the thing with Gemini is to be the side person than actually have side people. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but they can't be side people. You can't. It's so complicated. You really have to get it all together to get things working the right way. You got to meet the right people. You can't be trying to transmute people into mutables. That doesn't work. Believe me. You can try, but it's their charts got to change. The aspects have to move.
I totally agree.
Are we about to be on last question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I have to think long and hard about this. And shout out to me and Chris Strickland for being the only people cool enough to smoke cigarettes on Peace Chats.
Yeah, Chris Strickland.
By the way, him.
Chris Strickland will have a future episode this month. Stay tuned. But yeah, he was smoking like a straight boss.
Shout out to his rant. Shout out to his rant because he got us. He got us on #1 about like astrology. Did you see that rant? No. Oh dude, you're missing out. He totally like defended astrology like in the most gangster way. So I just had to say that.
What was that one thing he said that you're about to say?
Dude, shit if I know. That's probably what he would say too. But I gotta think of like a last question.
Here, I'll do some theme music.
Oh, I know one. Okay.
See? That quick. Magical.
All right. So if you were to be reincarnated into another human body, would you prefer to be reincarnated as a male or come back as a female?
I'd want to incarnate as a male so that I could experience female energy as a male. I feel like the receptivity. I mean, that's not really. I can't really answer that because I don't. The way I would answer it, there's so much unawareness that goes into my answer. But I would reincarnate as a male again, just so I could experience female energy. You know what I'm saying?
You're like one of the
Receptive to
last.
female
You must be one
energy.
of the last straight people on Earth. I have
Well,
this.
no. It's not necessarily out of a desire for being straight. Like even if I was gay, like I still would want a best friend who was a chick so that I could interact with her feminine energy as a male. I would never want to interact with feminine energy as a female. I think that's why they hate each other so much because it's just too much intensity.
Yeah.
But I really like that. I just really love women. It's because of all my feminine energy. Like I love feminine energy. I love women. Like that's a great question though. That's what I would do. What about you? I mean, that's not my last question, but I'm just kind of.
I would come back as a man. Definitely. Because I feel that being a woman is very powerful and so is being a man. And I'd like to constantly, if I was going to reincarnate, continually switch. And I don't know why, but I feel in my heart, I feel in my heart for some reason that my life path and the people that I've met, especially with the gay, there's a lot of gay people in my sphere of family and friends that I feel like with my karma and the people I know that there's a possibility that I would need to change my gender to be in the places I want to be. It's just a weird feeling because I could get that in this body because I know that gender is, in the mind and sex is between the legs, but it's just this feeling. It's interesting.
That would be the most gangster superpower. One of the most, just to switch your genders, like Mystique or something like that. No, don't forget it. Don't forget it. Yeah, forget my previous answer. That's a lie. The real reason why I want to be a man is because I never, ever, 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 ever want to go through childbirth. Never.
Dude, I had a C-section. It was an alien experience because I was in labor for 2 days with a pregnancy that I was dying with pretty much the whole time and hospitalized, which changed my life. And I had polyhydramnios, which is seen only and mostly in twin pregnancies, and I had one. And when it felt like getting a tooth pulled because all of a sudden I was awake, but they were numbing me from the legs down, cut open, and just pulled her out. And she was very awake, and she gave us a funny look like, what the fuck? And she was so she just looked at us like, what the fuck is happening?
On some Rugrats shit, I always feel like, well, you gave birth to an ascended being. That's pretty cool. You Piscean babies. I feel like a baby, if you put like a playpen of babies that were all Aquarius, Capricorn, and Pisces, it would literally be like the show Rugrats, like straight up and down. I truly believe that.
You know what I truly believe? That if you put a Sagittarius, a Capricorn, and a Scorpio together, it's like Ariel monsters.
Oh my god.
Not to be like Florissa explains it all.
Yeah, like I'm trying to not think about that because it makes too much sense and it's like mind-fucking me too hard right now. Oh my god.
Are you gonna pull a card or something?
I have my deck in front of me. I could do that actually.
Yeah, let's end our peace chat by, unless you want to say something else, let's pull some cards. Let's pull some combined intuition here. I'm gonna put my hand up to the screen.
I got these cards right now. This first one is about the Queen of Receptivity. I've been pulling this chick all freaking day. But how did you want to do this? Like, do you want me to just pull a card, or are you gonna pull a card too, or?
How about, let me get my deck. Let me grab it real quick, okay?
Alrighty. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna pull some random cards for no reason. See what happens. Diggity 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 do. The first random card is all about the Ace of Cups, which means oodles and doodles of much interpretation. And the second card that I draw It's the Five of Pentacles, which is talking about the trek from the third dimension down to the lower ethers of Walla Walla Boomstick Land. You have to make sure. You have to make sure that you know your worth. All right, so you want to like pull like cards at the same time and see what happens if something cool happens, like pull the same card at the same time.
But you're like frozen on my screen right now.
Yeah, you're all right. How about now?
No, dude, the Ace of Cups is haunting me, and that's actually the card of that's the card of the 8th house master, and it's the card of it's the card of Ophiuchus. The Ace
is
of Cups.
Is that why it's about spiritual awakening?
I'm not sure because I don't study tarot as much. I interpret it based upon my feeling when I look at the picture, because I'm a different type of interpreter than you, which is why I definitely want to pull cards. But the universe is like, oh my God, are they ready? I don't know why it's stuck on Ophiuchus. It wants people to like think. Maybe we'll have to like pull cards together like as like a different video or something just for fun.
I'm down. All right, so I'm ready to pull a card. I feel its energy. This is like Yu-Gi-Oh to me. Believe in the heart of the cards. The
All right, tell me what you pull. All right, let me pull a card. Let me pull one just with it. I pulled the Hierophant.
All right, this is so beautiful. What does it look like? What does the card look like?
Oh, it's got some Taurus aspects. It's got some Saturn aspects in it. We're talking about the second house with this one.
Could you actually like put the card on the screen? Just trying to see if I can make it look like this pentacle is being given to this Hierophant card. But no, I failed. That doesn't make any sense.
You're not going to be able to make sense of my Pisces dream, boy. It's just playing.
Sense doesn't matter anymore. But no. Yeah, I think those two cards combined, or even without the combination, I don't sense anything like financial or material with this. I kind of sense this as like a seed. And with the Hierophant, probably like a seed of wisdom and knowledge that it could like grow and last forever.
Yep, the seed you plant in
Aries. That's so speculative. Libra,
but with Taurus and like things like that, and like when you're thinking about like second house shit, it's not always about money. Sometimes it's about what comes to you when there is no money. Like another man's garbage, like the 12th house, like garbage is treasure in Taurus too.
I thought of it like that. Ooh, that makes sense. I do see it as a possession house, but I agree so much with KRS Astrology. He kind of sees money as like the 11th house. Like that's when it comes in.
Yeah, he's definitely Vedic because he's seeing it through. In Vedic, I think it kind of looks through it retrospectively, and it kind of looks at it in a retrograde way. That in the second house, like I would see how he sees it through 11th because the friendships, and they're looking at how you become a star, kind of in Vedic, like the people around you and how you are who you are because of other people a lot in Vedic, and that's why we're in a lot square and diamond shapes.
Hey, a portal just opened now. Could you tell me what to do? Because a portal literally just opened right now, and a spirit is chilling with me. Literally, I have the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, and the Death, and it's literally wanting the contact with you. Some very psychic.
Hey, do you remember my tattoo?
Yeah. Wait. We're not. Oh. Wait. Show it again. Death. Nice.
Yes.
So it's you.
Some people say that the only God is death. And that's the Holy Trinity because we have the dual signs like Sagittarius, the half man, half horse, Gemini, the twins. We have Libra, the scales. We have all these other dually ruled signs. Then we have the triple ruled sign, which is Scorpio, which is the serpent, the eagle, and the scorpion. So do you kind of get what I'm saying?
As far as the the Trinity, the triplicity, yeah. Well, that totally makes sense because Scorpio to me is like the first God of the God series. I feel like after Scorpio, it's just gods and goddesses, and then before that, it's like humans and angels, and then other expressions of such energy and whatnot.
Yeah, you're
But
still on the Ace of Cups, by the way. It's amazing that it's frozen on me for this long. And it's weird because like that yin yang symbol on your shirt is like right next to it.
no way.
Yeah, it's just
That
like
is
caught.
very symbolic.
Yeah, it's
That
really
that
cool.
that means a lot because I literally charge next to the Ace of Cups. So this is just another synchronicity to me. Like before I wore this, I put it on some tarot cards, and it's like, damn.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. But I feel like this is the perfect time to end the chat because there it is. I feel like there's the sign. We're frozen in time right now.
We're
And th-
frozen in time.
and this is for the people. So we gotta put the justice out there. And then we gotta be done.
All right. Well, I'll take your advice on that. Let us end this call here. Thank you so much, Rachel. Do you
Yes,
have
Michael,
any way? Do
dear
you have
friend.
any way for? Do you have any way for people to contact you if they want to talk to you? Or do you have any services or what's popping?
I do not have any services. I do talk to anyone who messages me. If we connect, then we will usually continue to be friends. And if you feel open enough with me to speak, great. I can look into charts, but I don't like to. So go to Michael Neby for that. And he's definitely better, or Neby. Sorry, I mispronounced your last name. He's definitely better than me with the aspects. But as far as like esoteric things goes, like in dreams, like we're both pretty good at it. But like if you want to contact me and just hit up a chat and make a new friend, you can contact me through my Facebook or my email, which is rachnk87@gmail.com.
You definitely want to hit her up for the dream interp. Like I said before, my advice is more analytical. So if you really want to get the deep hidden wisdom behind the dreams, instead of more, well, you dreamt of this, so there's more to that. And I'll end off with the Hanged Man.
Oh
You'll,
gosh.
you'll find that a certain imaginary friend you have than you ever imagined. Peace.
Yeah.